Welcome back to Finnegan's Garage. We are finally tackling the punch list for Blasphemy, which is everything we have to do to get this thing ready to go to the racetrack again. The list is long. I don't have the engine yet, so it's the perfect time to tackle stuff that's well behind, under, and next to the engine. I want to ask you guys a favor. I just noticed something the other day, and it was that we are just 80,000 subscribers away from the 1 million mark. Um, and I've been really, really bad about this. I don't have any of the plaques from other milestones, like 100,000 subscribers, no plaque. Apparently you got to sign up for all that stuff, and I never did it. So I'm finally gonna sign up because I think it would be really damn cool if we hit 1 million subscribers and we were all in this together. And I don't know, we'll throw a party or something here. So tell your friends, or if you're not already subscribed, hit the button for me. And as always, like the video if you do, comment below because I love the feedback. I actually use it all the time. And stick with us because this is going to be a fun one. Thanks. First things first, if you're new to the channel or you're not aware of what this car is, I'm going to tell you the story. This is a 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air that I bought out of the backyard of a house in Hemet, California. Probably, at this point, it's probably been 8 years. I don't know. I bought it because it had a title, it had a VIN number, and it was missing everything, and I can afford it. I paid $2,300 for a rusty body that somebody had rear-ended and poorly repaired. And like I said, I got a title for it, so it was mine. And over the years, I have had Hot Rods and Hobbies in Signal Hill, California, replace the floors, the trunk floor, the rear quarter panels, all that stuff done. I caged it with a kit from, where did that kit come from? My God, it's been so long I forgot. Oh, I remember. It's a Chris Alson's Chassis Works 10-point roll cage kit. Chrome ollie, taught myself to TIG weld on it. I don't recommend you do that at home. If you don't know how to TIG weld, don't teach yourself on the roll cage. It's kind of important. Luckily, I had some people around me to watch me and make sure I didn't make it completely unsafe. But again, teach yourself to TIG weld on other things, not structural things. And so this car in the beginning was going to become a NASCAR late 60s style dirt track racer until my friend David Freiberger said, hey, what would be cool is, a Hemi. And I didn't have a Hemi. And he said, I have lots of Hemis. I'll trade you. And I said, great. I have a pile of Busch Grand National V6 race engine parts, aluminum ones, and I traded him for a 528 Mopar crate Hemi. I rebuilt that engine myself. It was 11-to-1 compression, made 700 horsepower. It pushed this car with a Hilborn stack injection to I think 1130s in the quarter. Super fun, great street car. It's sitting on a Jim Meyer Racing gasser chassis, ladder bars in the back, straight axle in the front. And over the years, it's just been a really fun car. And then eventually I lost my mind and decided to supercharge that crate engine, which did not last very long until it split a cylinder wall open. And then after that, it was just a series of engine blocks and cylinder heads and pushing and pushing and pushing until this car started running mid 8-second passes. And so ever since then, pretty much the reason I've pushed this car is I fell in love with drag and drive racing, specifically Hot Rod Drag Week. And so I keep trying to make the car faster and breaking it and going back to events like that because they're my favorite thing in the world is to drive the car on the street, race it on the track. So anyway, that's the brief history of this car. Currently, there is no Hemi in it. And it's not because I've become enlightened and stopped trying to make a Hemi work in this car. It's because we're trying to make more horsepower. So currently, CP Carrillo is making new pistons. We're going to go back to Harrell Engine and Dyno in Morrisville, North Carolina here in a couple weeks to reassemble the new engine. And then it'll go back in this car. And then I have a roadkill shoot where I'm going to be racing David Freiberger's F-Rod, which is this incredible Model A that runs 850s in the quarter. And it's the most stripped down, low tech, just badass hot rod I've seen in a long time. It has a mechanical fuel pump. It has carburetors. There's no EFI. There's no data logger. There's none of that stuff on this car. And with, I think, a power glide in it, it runs 850s. And it's true, it's not a street car, but it's really cool. And for years, fans have asked, why aren't we racing these two cars? Well, we're finally going to make it happen for you guys. And as usual, my car is going to arrive to that roadkill shoot untested, and I don't have a lot of hope of winning because I usually don't beat David at anything, but I'm damn sure going to try. So, and trying for me means tackling a punch list of things that I wanted to do to this car for years that I've never gotten around to. We're going to change our rear end gear ratio from, we have a 430 gear in there now, and we're going to go down to probably a 388. We changed transmissions over the winter, and I noticed that when it was on the dyno the last time, with the 430 gear in 1-to-1, which is fourth gear in my transmission, at 7,000 RPM, we were only at 145 miles an hour, almost 150, which is not enough. This, going through the traps of a quarter-mile drag strip, should put us 7,100 RPM at about 160 miles an hour, which is where we need to be to run like a that's about where we need to be to run an 850 pass. So we need to change our gears. And we need to move our battery. We're going to be moving that from our radiator core support to our firewall, and then we'll be able to mount our dry sump tank off the radiator core support. We're going to switch to coil on plug ignition. So we need to find a spot to mount the coils, which is going to be interesting because the motor is not in the car. We need to add a transmission cooler. And yes, I know that sounds strange to a lot of people because we have a manual gearbox in there. It has an oil pump. And because it has an external oil pump, we can pump the fluid through a transcooler. And when we're driving down the street, we'll be a lot more comfortable in the car because we won't have a giant, source of heat right between the front seats. We are going to swap our 3.5-inch collectors for 4-inch collectors on our headers. Could be worth some power, not sure. The last time we dynoed this, we ran a small set of header primary tubes with 3.5-inch collectors. Then we ran a giant set of primary tube headers with 4.5-inch collectors, which might be too big, not sure. We're gonna weld O2 bungs in every primary tube so that we can move the two O2 sensors we have around during dyno testing to make sure motor's happy. We need to fix the trans tunnel. Our fuel sending unit's not working.
That'd be nice to have a gas gauge.
Yeah, it used to work, and I think it's going to be as simple as loading an old tune back in there, because I think our new tune is just not set up correctly, but otherwise it should be working. Way down on the list, but before next year, February specifically, I'd like to redo the bars off the back of the rail cage that go down to the frame, because the way they're in there now, I set them up for kids' car seats. You could fit my kids in there, in their baby seats, but they're no longer babies, and so I'd like to put a back seat back in the car and bring them with me places. So, back seat. Let's see, these are on the way. Oh, shifter. I ordered a shifter. Right now I have the stock Tremec T56 shifter. It's a little vague, so I ordered one from Tick Performance. That should be here tomorrow. We can put the new shifter in too, which would be great. Let's go to work. Or lunch, because it is lunchtime. We could start after lunch.
Okay.
Lots of things happening. We'd like to switch to dry sump, which has been an interesting thing to figure out without the motor being here, because our current oil pan is a wet sump Moroso deal that sits above the axle, above the steering, and then drops down behind it. I don't know exactly what the distance is between the steering arm and the pan, so I'm just gonna order one that is shallower and hopefully clears it in the event that the axle comes up at full bump. I think there's enough room down here between the cross member and the front drive for the supercharger to add another pulley to drive an dry sump oil pump. But again, without it being here, I don't know. What I do know is that our battery can probably be moved from here to probably where that Pew tank is. The Pew tank's gonna go away when we switched to a dry sump. Currently, that puke tank was just plumb to our valve covers. But when we go to dry sump, we'll have an external oil tank with a built-in puke tank, kind of like this one. This is the one off of Game Over, my old twin turbo drag boat. And this could conceivably go either where the battery is over there, or it could go right here. In fact, this isn't a bad place at all for it.
No.
Because our dry sump oil pump will end up likely on this side of the motor, down on the inside of the frame rail. The only question is,
I like the idea of not having to move that battery and all that wiring.
Yeah, it would be nice to not move that battery. Let's tilt the hood back and we'll see if this fits here. Yeah, I don't think I got all the oil out of it, so. All right. Can you tilt the hood down?
I can.
Wow. Sit here and see whether this will work.
Got it?
I got this side. Don't have that side.
Okay.
Okay, let's fully latch it so that we know.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. This could totally work.
I like it.
Make a mount off the core support, put it right there. Yeah, and the tire won't get into it. Like,
no, it's got plenty of room over there, dude.
yeah. Yeah, this is good, dude.
Just eliminating the fact that we have to relocate the battery in this wiring is a huge time saver.
Yeah, it really is. So we'll have to make a creative mount off of there in the frame rail. Hold that thing right there. Just as soon as we get all the oil out of this.
Oh. Oh God, there's a lot in here.
Easiest way to do it is grab the eyebrow of the headlight with your right hand.
Pull back.
Pull back.
Oh, piece of cake.
Yeah. All right. Going in there.
Okay. Bye, Mike.
Bye, Joe.
See you later.
Yeah, buddy. This is what it's like to be a Hemi.
Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Oh. I was like, all right, I'll just hang out in here for a little while.
I'll be back in 20.
Okay.
Let's see. Which way did you have the puke tank? This way?
Yeah, puke tank could probably be out that way.
Okay.
And so right now Joe's going to rotate the mounting bracket for our Moroso puke tank and oil tank. He's going to move it 90 degrees so that
maybe
it can line up with the radiator side mount. There is no try, only do. Do or do not.
So it's kind of like stuck to the tank.
Yeah, you'll have that on those high performance jobs. Those zip ties can come out of there.
Ah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. So go 180 degrees from the puke tank.
Right here?
Yep.
Oh, wait.
The upper strap, the upper strap needs to go above the puke tank.
Yeah.
There you go. Come on back.
What's that?
Do me a favor and mark on this plate how far down this thing goes so that we know how high we can go.
Okay.
And then give me a mark. Basically, put the Sharpie right up on here and draw a line so we know where this bar is.
Along here?
Yes, we know where that bar is. Because then we can tilt the front end off and pull this mount off, and we can build everything on the bench.
Okay.
All right, so now let's flip the front end and get me out of here, and we'll get this mount out of here.
No, you can stay.
I mean, I like it. It's cool. It's a little cramped, though. Hello. All right. Okay. So now let's we're gonna remove this stuff, which means we probably
radiator mount.
Yeah, we're gonna remove the radiator mount, which means we're
just removing the front clip.
No, we can cheat. We can put a blanket and a jack stand under this side of it to hold this side up.
Okay.
That thing should come off now. This is the mount for our radiator that bolts to the frame rail. Essentially, our radiator is our core support in this scenario. This line here represents the tilt front end bar and how far back it comes when the front end tilts back. This is our puke tank. Joe drew that line right there. Essentially, that's the bar for the tilt front end, and then this is a gusset plate. And so everything we do has to be under that line and behind this line. We knew we needed to space it about 3.5 inches back. So if that goes there, and this needs to be under there, then we know this is about where our dry sump tank can mount. We're using a 2x4, which is really 3.5. I don't know how that works, but it is what it is. We need to make a mount that goes from here over to our plate, spacing it off about 3.5 inches while allowing us to get to this pair of fasteners right here. So,
need a big aluminum C-channel.
Yeah, or a big chunk of aluminum and put a window in it so that you can get to these two bolts right here.
Right.
And then we can drill and tap this side and bolt it from that side.
Well, that's a question too. Is it going to affect where the radiator hits? Oh, I guess right here, or we're clear of the back flange of the radiator,
Yeah,
right?
this is the flange of the radiator. Pull a hole there. But yeah, we can go set this back up there and go, all right, you know, do we need to slide this backwards and use this area? I can cut this off and weld a new one that drops down further. I was thinking this would be pretty basic. Like it's just if you pictured this, it's just a 3.5 wide by 1 inch thick chunk of aluminum. You go in there with an end mill and just cut a window out of it, and then it's 2 holes here and 2 holes here. Mm-hmm. So they can get to those 2 fasteners and these 2 fasteners.
Do we have metal for that?
Pretty sure we do.
Can we take you into the world of Mike's Metal Supply? Oh, there's a chunk.
If we're real
sure you want to give that up?
If we're real desperate, you know, there's this. This is, I believe, 6061. It's left over from a boat project. We could also, this is all plate though, this doesn't help us. All right, so this is the moment where you have to evaluate how much is your time worth versus how much does metal cost? Because this will work. It's the right width. It's here, it's present. Cutting it is going to take some time. Windowing it is going to take some time. So is there a piece of metal out there that we could buy that will require less time to machine and do all the things to? Or does waiting for that or driving to get that take more time than it would be for me to cut this off right here? Yes.
I'm going to say, there was a piece of 4x4 square tubing over there.
Yeah.
Smaller piece of tubing like that would be great, because then you're only windowing two sides, and then the whole thing is stout still.
Yeah, we don't have that. I mean, we could maybe sheet metal break something. We could weld two L's together. I mean, I think the most elegant solution is this right here. We put a new blade in the bandsaw because that blade is horrific. Cut this not quite 3.5, say 3 3/4, because it's not going to be straight. Then put it in the mill and edge it to make it perfectly straight. Then cut a window in it and be done. We could do that. We could TIG weld some stuff to this. We got options. We got options.
Any coins on you?
We could, I mean,
flip for it?
We could go to the Online Metals website and look and see what they got, because they got a whole rack of aluminum there.
That actually might work.
Maybe 3 inches is the magic number. Maybe it doesn't need to be 3.5.
Well, what I'm thinking though too is, you don't need boxes. You can just take this to the foot.
Yeah. Have to cut a window into it though to make sure we
Yeah.
can get the bolts in.
Gotta come all the way over here to use this belt sander as a stand.
It's like it was meant to be.
Right. Voila.
Yeah, buddy. All right, so now we'll measure this bolt pattern right here. Put it in that piece. We'll bolt that piece on here. Put this back on the radiator. Hold that up there and go. Does it clear everything? This is our current plan. We added a third bolt hole, which might be a little crooked there. And that is going to bolt there. I have to put 3 holes in it, bolt it. Then we'll put this back together, put this back on the car, put the whole thing up in there, set it up in there and see, is this enough space? If it is, great. Then we bring this back out, cap it with a TIG welded plate, and put a window in it so that we can reach our bolts that we'll be tightening it. And then this will be done.
Oops.
Oh, man. I did not deserve that. I hope your microphone was on.
It was.
That clears. Really hitting. Higher than we need to be, so it's hitting the fiberglass, so it needs to come down.
Oh, it is?
We're nowhere near any of that stuff. Yeah, that's too close. It needs to come back here in order to stamp it up. Okay, that's in the ballpark where that goes. Now,
Where's that? There's that.
And you saw where I marked on the bottom there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Let's pull it out. All right.
I got it.
Ow, 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 ow. There we go.
See your finger in there?
You're stabbing me. Stabby thing. Oh. That was on the outside. You know where the paint is.
No, it's on the inside.
Okay, am I looking at this right? So
Yep. You are dead nuts on. That's the way it was. Your line, this marked line you put in the circle, is that dead even with the channel?
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, right there.
So if we're to go with this scenario, then that all clears. We just need to add some aluminum, which is no big deal. Here's what we got going on. Our temporary mock-up piece was good. Everything clears. The only issue we have is it's floating out in free space there where there's no longer any aluminum. So as you can see here, we need to add aluminum out in here so that this has something to bolt to or weld to. And gotta be honest, if I'm gonna add material there and TIG weld it on, I'll just TIG weld this to that. And then it doesn't need any bolts to go on here, it just needs bolts to hold the puke tank. Which means we just put a window here to reach through and get the bolts in and we're good. Actually, you know what? It doesn't need a window. You can reach through the bottom and you can reach through the top. Yeah, the window would be nice to get the middle one though. All right.
Yeah, you've also got one more radiator mount one in there too.
And it'll make it lighter.
Because race car.
Yes. Okay. Before, after. This one had already been extended once when I added the radiator overflow tank, and then it was missing this material here that we were gonna need to mount our oil tank for our dry sump system. So, I'd say that was about 10 to 12 minutes in the vertical bandsaw. Cut this out of an identical thickness piece, 1/4 inch 6061. And now we need to put our lightning holes in it, set the dry sump tank back on it, mark where that's gonna go and see is there any other areas we wanna lighten.
This can go right here.
Right here?
Right here.
Okay.
Now, let me see if we got clearance. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got plenty of clearance now.
All kinds of clearance there. In fact, I could move it in and weld the outside edge right there. Boom.
Done?
Yeah, man. This works. Take it off, weld it. Done. Look what we made.
There's our new piece. For comparison, there's our old piece, which had already been extended once. And the new piece has the extra material for our dry sump oil tank. I want to throw it up there one last time. We'll make sure she's ready, and then we will weld it in place. There's the standoff we made. The standoff is nothing more than some 3x2 C-channel aluminum that we are going to TIG weld to the bracket. And all I do is cut a window in it using an end mill. All right. Dude, this is cool.
Yeah, I think it came out great. I like that little standoff. Looks good.
Just put just enough room there to weld into a corner. And she should be good to go. All right. I'll set up the TIG machine. We'll weld it and then we'll put it in the car. And then this project is done.
Wow, we can mark it off the list.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I know. We can mark it off the list. And then I can feed the kids because they're hungry.
All right.
I'm supposed to be making dinner right now.
They're young.
They are young.
Bowls of candy up there that are probably empty right now.
Yeah, they're probably not hungry anymore right now.
They're eating plenty of candy all day.
That's a good point. Oh, look at that. It's a thing of beauty. Well, it's turned out okay. Not my best, not my worst.
It looks just fine.
I don't think it's going to fall off. That's good news. Nope. You know.
Well, I don't know. I've seen the way you drive Blasphemy.
Maybe it is going to fall off. Yay, and it's going to solve our oil pressure problems at the top end of the racetrack. And it's going to look cool, and we're recycling parts we already had, which is awesome. Ooh, that came out good. Pretty sturdy too.
Yeah, it came out really nice.
Might want to add just one more thing. Although the hose might dampen it some, but it's going to vibrate a little bit. You might need a triangulation thing here later, but that's good. Have you tried closing it to see if it fits?
No, I just got everything done and stuff put away.
Dude, let's try closing it.
Okay, ready?
Yep. Whenever there's two people, just grab the side, because otherwise it runs into the car and scratches it. Oh yeah. And even if the wheel was turned all the way left and it bottomed out, you can't hit it.
Yeah, well, if that's a situation where you've got the wheel turned all the way left and it bottoms out.
Turn in my driver's license?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, that should fit really nice up in there.
Room everywhere.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's nice.
Look! They look great. Man, it fits. It's sturdy. I ended up not even having to move my battery, which is great, because I just saved a bunch of money in wiring and time. Laundry list of stuff still to do to the car, but this video is going to end here because next week we're heading to HED to put the Hemi back together. We'll have brand new pistons from CP Carrillo, rings from Total Seal, and not a lot about that engine is changing other than those two key items, because we're going to get the compression back we wanted, we're going to run the cam timing where we want, and we're going to have a dry sump oiling system from Moroso. So this thing should make more power, it should be happy, it should be healthy. I can't wait to drive it again. And you'll see all of that on a future episode of Finnegan's Garage. Thanks for hanging out.